with? Okay, so the first episode, the first 20 minutes, we'll be talking about um, the Broncos game. Just bits and pieces, things that might be brought up. I do want to touch on the changing of the offensive line without practice on a short week. Had some question marks about that by a lot of people. Rodney, if you don't want to put in info on it, that's up to you. I do want Gerard's opinion on that, though. That's kind of a situation that I wanted to talk about. But
Yeah, believe it or not, I didn't even know
yeah,
until it's like a short week. I'm rarely paying attention to that. But
uh-huh.
I'll pass that along. I want
That's
to give
fine.
it to yeah.
Yeah, I figured as much because that's kind of it's hard to say anything about that without throwing somebody under the bus, in my opinion. um, uh, then we'll talk about uh, after that. Then we'll talk about the week 5 in the NFL, like last night's game. Stuff like that. We'll also talk about the Green and Poole situation that you brought up, Rodney. All
Mm-hmm.
right. I want to talk about the Devontae Adams thing at the end of the game.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing that could be brought up that I just thought of was um, the Commanders head coach seemingly throwing his quarterback under the bus. That's kind of
Yeah.
it seemed that way to me. So that's not cool. That's not something that you would expect from a coach, to say
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And then the last episode, of course, we will preview the Jaguars game this Sunday. All right.
All right.
All good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Let's get into the brand. Do you guys have any topics or comments that you want to kind of touch on in today's recording?
Nah, I'm going with the flow.
Okay.
Yeah. I just had that one. That was it.
That's fine.
It's actually, yeah.
And this is how it pretty much rolls, Rodney, with us. We just there's no real script. It's more of a sit back conversation style, and that's how Gerard and I have been doing it. I think it works. I think it's good. It kind of just feels like a few guys just sitting down and talking.
Yep. Yeah.
The only problem is you have to watch what you say.
That is true.
All right, guys, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Bleav in Colts podcast.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen, back again with Bleav in Colts with my guys Rodney McLeod and Gerard Powers. Guys, how's everything going? It's been a week since we've talked to each other and games, and actually it's been a little bit longer for Rodney here on the podcast because of your short week. How's everybody been?
Man, I've been good. Coming off a great win. That made the weekend that much better. And blessed, man. It's a new week. It's Tuesday, so I'm feeling good. Sun's out, man, and can't ask for nothing better than that. How you guys?
Man, I'm the same. Feeling good. Coming off from a week of the beach. Kids back in school. So happy about that. Back to my routine of scheduling things through the week. But everything's good. Can't complain at all.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna go ahead and kick off in just a moment with the whole big win that you talked about, Rodney. Going into that game, there was going to be a lot of question marks across the line. My first question actually, you know what? Before we get into that, I just want to remind everybody that football is back at Bet Online and remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. As your continued source for all your sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like Major League Baseball, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts. So, Rodney, this was huge game. This was one of the best defensive special teams games I have seen in a long time. And again, the Colts get the win, and the other team's offense gets the blame. It is what it is. But walking in against a Russell Wilson team with the weapons that they have, and you guys come away and do what you do. Give us a little bit of feeling about that game after it was over. How the locker room was, how personally it was, all that.
Man, it was a great time to be in the locker room for us after experiencing what we did that game. And I think defensively, we just felt as though what defense was going to make most plays, the biggest plays of that game. And it's kind of a bend but don't break, kind of mentality is that, man, whoever gives up the first touchdown in this game ultimately is probably going to lose, right? And that can't be us. That's all we were, telling ourselves is, man, like, you give us an inch, we're going to defend it. Whatever it takes, we're going to get it done tonight, man, and we won't be denied. That was my message, to the defensive backs before the game. And I think, it showed countlessly throughout that game, from start to finish. Gilly obviously closing the game, I would say twice, right? And giving us a chance. He gets a huge interception, in regulation towards the end to set up our offense. And then we turn back around at OT and he gets a huge pass breakup. But, I think everybody, of course, the viewers out there, nobody wants to necessarily see that type of game nowadays. A good, defensive game. I think of like that old Baltimore Ravens 2004, where you got Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Suggs and those boys. And that's what it felt like. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know how many of those type of games I want, but at the end of the day, good for a couple. But it felt good to just walk away with that win and knowing that all the work we put in paid off.
Man, I enjoy defensive games. I just think, especially on a primetime setting, I know, fans for the most part, like you said, want to see more points scored, more entertainment, more exciting. I guess when it comes to those type of fans that like that type of football. But from my perspective, it kind of puts the spotlight on the defensive guys that's making the plays, because it becomes this big defensive battle to where you can't have that many mistakes or it might cost you the game. Just tell the fans a little bit about the emotions and everything that's kind of going on feeling wise during the course of a game when you can't really mess up or give the other team any type of advantage because it's such a defensive battle.
Yeah, it's intense, to be honest, and not saying that every other game isn't as intense, but when you're seeing how the game is flowing and the way things are operating on both offensive sides of the ball, you're put in a position where, man, you have to. It's a field position battle. It's a turnover type of game, and to be honest, you're going out there like, man, I can't be the one. I can't be the guy. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a tackle, whether it's a one-on-one matchup, ball gets thrown in the air. I was so upset about my pass interference call that was made because I knew the magnitude of that. You know what I'm saying? We now give them a chance to extend their drive. That was a 2nd and 10 play. I felt like it was perfect coverage, if you ask me. And so, now we move on and you now set up 3rd and 10. But Now we get the flag. Now it's a new set of downs, and who knows what comes of that. We walked off that field and made them and forced them to punt, which was great. But those are the thoughts that are going through your head. Everything is magnified that much more, as you said. You can't have any sort of hiccup, miscommunication, false step, bad eyes. Like those are critical, but even more in a game where it came down to 3 points, right? And there were so many huge plays in that game. I think about the Grove block field goal, and that just shows you, man, like how it takes. Football is the ultimate team sport, man. And that game we had to do it in all 3 phases. Every I think side of the ball showed up and played their part when they had to.
Absolutely. And a guy that really came out, the rookie, Thomas. Oh my goodness, he is having heck of a start to his
Rod
career out
T,
there.
Rod T, man,
Yeah.
baller.
I like him,
He-
man. I like
Oh.
big plays.
Yeah.
So take me through that play where the official got in the way. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
take me through that one.
He probably was going to intercept that ball. I mean, I've seen stuff like that happen within my career to where, it's tough for officials sometimes to kind of get out of the way because you just never know where the ball's going. But in this particular situation, obviously, I mean, this could have been a huge, huge play. Like Rodney said, how you don't want to have a hiccup. This could have been a costly type play. So it's unfortunate that happened, but I think RT would have had another pick.
Mm-hmm.
He would have. He definitely would have. I think I've only seen that happen. Been a part of that maybe like one other time, and you're like, like, how does that happen? My man. Yes,
Like, how are you back here this far?
yeah. Like I don't think the refs, man, their anticipation too of like what type of play they expect it to be, and I don't think my man was expecting the deep ball on that play.
Well, again, referees are considered part of the field, right? So you got to keep one eye open for those zebras out there when you're running around. But yeah, I mean he's been getting pass breakups, breaking on the balls, doing everything just great. The whole defense has been playing absolutely phenomenal, lights out. When Russell Wilson, was there something different about this game from what you saw on film when coming in and facing Russell? Because I'm sure you guys watched a lot of film on how Russell Wilson plays.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of talk about how, he didn't run the ball as much. He stayed in the pocket quite a bit, things like that. Was you seeing stuff like that throughout the game?
Yeah, I think that's credit to the D line being very disciplined in their rush lanes and patterns and the level of focus that we had, and also credit to us in the back end for doing a great job on a good skill group, man. Those guys can play. Judy Sutton. You go across the board, man. Those guys are proven and they make a lot of plays. And they're an explosive, offense in a sense. They have the capability to do that. But I think it was just credit to us the way we played collectively as a defense. To be honest with you, we know what type of player Russell Wilson is. He likes to escape, extend plays. And I felt as though we had a good game plan set in place, and we played disciplined football, simply put.
So getting a big win like that on the road, I remember playing on Thursday night games, especially sometimes, especially when it's a short week, you got to travel across the country and all that type of things. It seems like you're back against the wall, like everything is against you. And then you come out with a victory going forward with, especially how the season and kind of started a little slow, kind of up and downish. We still haven't played complementary football yet to where just all phases are clicking together. So still so much to improve on as a team, but going forward, how do you think a win like this impacts the team heading into a conference game or division game coming up this week?
Man, I think that was you look back on one of those games and it goes one or two ways, and I'm glad we were on the other side of that. I think that's a defining moment for a team, or it can be, right? And I truly Bleav this can be that game for us. That's a win on the road, short week. Once again, everybody's against us in a sense, and thinking that there's no way that the Colts are walking away with this win. And even probably as the game is going on, like at some way they're going to mess up. They're going to give the game away. But we hung together, and that is the identity of this team right now is perseverance and how do we respond in adverse moments. And I think we rose to that occasion both times, right? You look at KC and then you look at this. I think where we have to take that next step is after we have these huge wins, right, and have success, how do we handle that, right? And we have to treat this next game the same. It's don't read the clippings, uh, continue to have those earplugs in. Don't listen to the necessarily the hype, right, that they might be giving us, and just go out, man, and treat the next one as if, man, like the world is against us again, backs against the wall. And to be honest, we're going into a week with a lot to prove, man, versus this Jacksonville Jaguars team. What they did to us the first game, and being a division opponent. I mean, Gerard, like records don't matter. We could be, if we were 5-0, what I'm saying, and they were 0-5, it doesn't matter. They're going to bring their best because they know us well, what I'm saying? And it's just that pride that, we all have, of course, as players, but even more when it comes to the division, man. So I think for us, we have to create the success that we have the same way, and go out there, man, and just do whatever it takes. It doesn't have to be pretty, as long as you walk away with a win. In my opinion, that's all that matters.
This Gus Bradley defense has been playing, again, like I said, pretty darn good through the first 5 weeks of the season. Now, obviously, when you're a new player walking in, not only are you trying to get used to, the players around you, but now, there's an added difficulty of a new defensive coordinator here. And so a new scheme, so you're kind of on equal levels with the other guys, but you don't know the other guys as well. Take us through the learning curve that's been this year of coming into the Indianapolis Colts through this point and trying to cement yourself in with this defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like any other sort of relationship. There you have to. It takes time to build that bond and that chemistry, and it just has to happen naturally. To be honest with you, but um, I haven't had I haven't had to do this in some time where I'm actually stepping into a different locker room, right, and trying to now learn the culture, learn the way of how things are done on a particular team. I've been fortunate enough for the past 6 years to be on the other side where people are coming into you know my culture or our culture that we created, right, and I was already a part of. So, now when you just walking in, uh, you have to identify what that is, what that looks like, and really it's just buying in. I think that's the biggest thing. The quicker you buy in and you embrace everything that comes with now this new team, this new identity, new way, the quicker that I Bleav that relationship starts to form and it becomes what it is, right now. So I think I see a lot of that, man. I love this team. I love my teammates, and man, wouldn't want to go to battle with any other group. What I'm saying, to be honest with you.
Drug?
I like it, man. I like the transition. I like the fact that India's settling well. Like I mean, I'm kind of out of the Denver questions. It seemed like so long ago because of the Thursday night game or whatnot, man. But I'm still excited about the season going forward. I know we've had our slow starts. The fans been killing us, which that's nothing new when they come to us in slow starts. But like you said, you can have some defining moments in a season that change the whole course of the season. And even though we haven't kind of put it all together yet, kind of lets you know, like, man, we got so much more we can do as a team. Like, we've beaten some really, really good football teams. Like, when you watch the Chiefs play last night, you're looking at them like, damn, like they're a really good football team, and we beat
Yeah,
them. Then you
yeah,
go on the road, tough Thursday night game, you beat a Bronco team on the road. So I'm still of the believer, as a former player who's been through these emotions and been through these type of seasons, that I mean, it's still a lot of football to be played, and it's still a lot of teams that's still trying to prove themselves. And then when you look at the record from top to bottom across the NFL, everybody's about a game or two apart. I mean, it's a couple teams. You look at the Eagles, undefeated. I want to say it's a couple more one-loss teams or whatnot. But for everybody else, you're still in the thick of it. So I
hmm
think some people, when it comes to our fan base, gotta relax a little bit. It's a lot of football to be played, and we got a lot of damn good football players on our team. So I'm so excited about this year. I got too many friends as Titan fans that's been blowing my phone up, talking trash, former players, and all that. So I'm ready to get this division back, man. Beating Jacksonville,
yes, sir.
going over there, beating the Titans, man. So we got to just get that excitement back. People acting like this is like week 14, week 13, and the season is about to end, and we're not where we need to be. Like, man, the season just started a month ago. Everybody is
Yeah,
still in the thick of it, man.
yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely, and we understand. Everybody understands. There's still a lot to improve upon, especially on one specific side of the ball. But right now, 2/3 of this team is clicking very, very well, right? And that's good to see at this point of the season. I got one more question, but before I do that, is there anything that you would like to bring to light with for people listening or watching right now about this last game that maybe you want to talk about a little bit, Rodney?
Oh, nah, man, I don't really have, too much. I
All right,
don't have
all
too
right,
much.
all right, all right. Well, my question, if you're allowed to say it, if you're not, or if you have to paraphrase, that's fine. But the message at halftime, because as close as this game was, whether it was a coach or a player or something like that at halftime in the locker room, trying to get everyone hyped up for the second half. Was there a specific message that was brought across to get the team to continue to play the way they were in the first half?
No, I mean, I would say on the defensive side of the ball in particular, man, we just challenge ourselves to keep things, right where they are. And honestly, how can we elevate, right? What do we need to do right now at this point to change the outcome or the course of this game? And I think for us, that was turnovers. And I think we got that. And then I would say on the offensive side of the ball, both I heard, both, Matt spoke to us at half, just talking about closing out this game, man, and doing whatever it takes to win. And then, a gentleman, Philip Lindsay, surprisingly, showed a lot of emotion, on that side of the ball, and challenging everybody on that side to pick things up, uh, and so that was encouraging to hear on the as we have the lockers separating us, and then they're on the other side of the ball. But it caused that type of game called for certain leaders to speak out in maybe ways that they haven't before. But everybody responded well, man, and we came away with the win.
Awesome, awesome. That was a great victory. I don't care what people say about the so poor points. Look, there was the Texans Jaguars game this past Sunday that had fewer total points than what the Colts Broncos did. Okay, there was a touchdown scored in it, but hey, it happens. Those are great defensive games. All right.
Hmm.
So I'm excited about defensive play as well, Gerard. I always have been. I think that'll do it for this episode of Bleav in Colts, going over the Broncos game from last Thursday. Thank you all for watching and listening. Please smash that like button, subscribe, download this to whatever platform you're listening to. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Rodney McLeod. And with us again, of course, is Gerard Powers. This was Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cassidy.
Let me end that. I shouldn't have done it that way. I clicked the wrong thing. I wanted to do the Bleav outro, but I'll just do the one Bleav outro and cut it in. Just like the ad. I won't read the ad anymore. I'll just cut those in too. We'll talk about week 5 now. Did you watch Monday night, Rodney?
Yeah, I did. I caught the second half, which was probably the best part, I guess.
It's funny. I watched the first half, then I was like, I got to get some sleep. So I went to bed, woke up, and I was like, I could catch the second half on condensed version.
Yeah. Yep. It was entertaining though.
Yeah.
That was a game, man. Raiders just, oh man.
Raiders, I honestly thought the Raiders were going to win that game, but we'll get into that in a minute. Gerard, did you get to watch that game?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
Okay. All right. Let me put this out. Plenty of stuff to talk about. This is just the general NFL sports stuff. So let's get this started.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Bleav in Colts podcast.
What's going on, Colts Nation, NFL fans, sports fans? This is Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guys, Gerard Powers and Rodney McLeod. Guys, it was a great week in sports to sit and watch. A lot of good football games, some interesting stuff in other sports that has happened. And I'm going to jump right into it, Rodney. Gerard, I got questions for both of you. You got the green pool incident that happened during a practice. Do you have any words that either one of you want to talk about when it comes to how he just walked up and did what he did?
Yeah, I was very surprised to see that clip. I think when you saw the report that came out, I don't think any of us envisioned that it was going to turn out to be that way. We were all thinking it's a general scuffle, you know what I'm saying, something of that magnitude, but never a full blown, you know what I'm saying, Mike Tyson jab, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, I feel like it's, you know, inexcusable. It was uncalled for. And so you know, when you're now having a lot of conversations about what do you think transpired, what did they say to make him react in that way, to have that level of response, because that's a teammate, you know, somebody that you won a championship with, you spend a lot of time with, especially in the NBA. You know, I think they might spend a lot more time than we do as football players, but you know, to see him, you know, strike him in the way that he did, I don't know how you move forward, uh, you know, from that, to be honest, and try to re rekindle that relationship, and that team camaraderie, like what that does. And the season hasn't even started. We're talking about this preseason, and that went down. So I think the Warriors, man, they're going to be in a tough space with figuring out how do they move forward, how do they get those two gentlemen on the same page, or whether they ultimately have to remove somebody. And in that case, who do they choose? You know what I'm saying? Do they choose the vet, you know, who's been there and established this championship culture, or do you go with the new breed and with Jordan Poole, who's proven that, you know, he is a player that can play? And um, I don't know. I don't know where you go from here, but that was my first time seeing something like that, and it's talk of the town right now.
Gerard?
Man, yeah, I thought I thought the video definitely wasn't a good look from an organization standpoint. Stuff happens in practice. Practice can get competitive. I know, like as football players, we see fights every day at practice, especially in training camp. But it's almost expected, so you don't really see like the big, complaints or people concerned. I mean, as football players, you got on pads, helmets, punches get thrown, and all that, and nobody really treats it like a big deal because, like I said, it kind of feels expected in training camp. So when it happens in basketball, we're not used to seeing it. So when you see it for the first time, it's just like that shock value. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. When you go across the league, I bet it's several teammates that might get into fights. It might not be as that bad to where you almost get sucker punched a little bit, but I'm pretty sure several scuffles in training camp, just like in other sports. I mean, we gotta kind of think they are in training camp. You know how it is when grown men get competitive and everybody want to win. You start talking a little bit, but it looked embarrassing on Draymond's part because you would think that he would be able to handle, some trash talking if that's what it was, just because that's the cloth he's cut from.
Mm-hmm.
He's been the one that always was the trash talker to try to get under people's skin. That was part of his DNA. That's part of his game. So to see him kind of not handle that situation a little bit better, that's what makes it look ugly. I think if it was Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson, we wouldn't be as shocked. Or I guess I don't think I guess the narrative of it, I think, would be a little different. But the fact that it's Draymond and he has a certain narrative about himself, I think it kind of hits a little different, and that's what makes it look so ugly. Because it's like, damn, Draymond, like you're cut from that same cloth, and you can't handle a little trash talking. So it looks bad. But I'm with you, Rodney. I don't think that I don't know how you can come back from it. I mean, when you're talking about team sports, chemistry is like the main thing. You can have the best players in the world on your team. If the chemistry's not there, it's not going to work. And everybody knows Golden State's that's kind of how they built to get to where they're at, off team chemistry, the way that they play the game, and all those things. Culture, it's been built on the chemistry foundation. So I don't know how you get back from it, but they are a veteran organization that have been through a lot, won a lot of championships. So maybe they can resolve. But I mean, when you're talking about the bottom line, both of them are due max contracts, so you never know. It might be like Rodney said, you might have to choose one or the other. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, it, as Rodney said, this happens all the time. Gerard, you said it. It happens all the time in the NFL, right? I mean, just a couple of years ago, Pittsburgh, Earl Thomas. I think it was no,
Baltimore.
Baltimore with Earl Thomas, and they chose. Earl was thrown off the team. From what I remember, it's kind of basically what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think because, as Gerard said, a lot of what happens obviously on the field, right? And now this controlled, I guess, somewhat environment, helmets might be on. You rarely see, where the us as players get a clean punch thrown like to the chin, right? Without the helmet on. Like that is rare. And what you're pointing to is Earl Thomas. I Bleav that's what happened. It was something that transpired on the sidelines, right?
Mm.
And I think when it goes to that level of extremity, then you have to take kind of action, right? And I think the organization's hand is kind of forced, right? Like, where do you go from here? Because we're prideful individuals, man. We're men, and then we're athletes on top of that, and it's like Gerard said, man, that for that clip to get out, it's embarrassing on both parties, right? Draymond for, I'm sure the guy he is, the reputation he has as a leader, you hate to see that. But then on the other side of Poole being the victim in the situation, and having to live with that now, and endure all the comments and the jokes that come with it, man, like you can't walk back in there in that locker room, man, and not feel like you have to get something off your chest, if you're Poole as a man. And every day, and I heard his lockers next to him, like, come on. Like I don't know where you go from that. And like it's that saying, you might forgive, but you never forget, and you don't know when Jordan Poole is liable to react because of the history now that's formed. So I don't know.
Gerard, if this was not caught on film, if this was just a report, does this get handled differently in a disciplinary standpoint, do you think?
No, I don't. I don't. I think if it never even got out, I think the Warriors would still be like it would have been some report coming out, hey, Draymond's left the team or Draymond's away from the team, and we would have just had to speculate on what's going on, but nobody would have
Hmm.
just knew for sure. And that's how you want it to be. I mean, you'll hear the rumors, and some of the rumors normally are true, but if don't nobody stamp the rumors, it's just all speculation at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I still feel like that if the video didn't get out, the Warriors would still be handling this situation in the same manner that they're handling it now. So
Okay.
because when you do
All right.
stuff like that, like it's beyond certain people's hands now. Like it's beyond Steve Kerr's hand. It's beyond like it's really up to the owner. What do you want to do? Do you want to keep him or do you want to do like it's beyond people's hands once they get to this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of, disciplinary action and players doing things a little out, last night after the Kansas City Raiders game, Devontae Adams walking out off the field, the cameraman kind of walked in front of him, and Devontae just shoved him straight to the ground, paused,
See,
and then walked on. But he did drop an apology, right? But is that too little, too late? What are your guys' thoughts on this?
no, see, my thing, like even Devontae's wrong. Don't get me wrong. You're wrong for pushing. Don't like and all that. I get it. But at that same token, you got to think of what a football player is going through emotionally after a big emotional loss like that. He probably like we can't see where he's looking totally, but Devontae wears a dark visor. I'm pretty sure he kind of had his head down walking towards. Like I've been in a close game to where we lost. It's a close one, and you're walking towards the sideline. You're rarely not looking up, looking at
Hmm.
the fan. Then this is an away game. He probably had his head down walking. He's mad and just sees somebody walk right across him. Your first initial reaction might be to push somebody when you're still in that emotional state. So I didn't really. I hate that the guy fell the way he did. But let's just say if the guy was able to continue to stay on his feet, I don't think that we would be talking about this right now. I just think that it looked worse than what the actual intent was, if that makes sense. Because when you see Devontae pushed him, he kind of paused for a second,
Mm-hmm.
like damn, like why did you walk in front of me? Then he kept it moving, so it wasn't like he was just this angry, violent football player that's running off the field because he's mad and he's throwing things. So it wasn't that. I think it was more so he probably head down, a lot of stuff going through his mind. Just lost a wild finish. He had this incredible game. Just think about how they lost. Him and Hunter ran into each other on the last play of
Hmm.
the game. So just think how emotional he is and what he's thinking about. And of course security is walking right there with him. So he's not acting out or any way. I think his head was down and the guy literally walking right in front of him. And his initial reaction was to push. He just didn't think that he probably pushed him as hard as he did. And at the end of the day, that does look bad, but I don't think Devontae is like a bad guy at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think character like overrides that moment, right? And we all know who Devonte Adams is and what he's type of player he is, the respect level that you have, and you've never seen anything like that transpire. I mean, I think that was just a moment of an emotional moment for them, right? Where they are in their season, record wise, the a division game, and to lose the way that they did. He had two tough plays. One where he thought he had a catch. You know what I'm saying? And man, the toe tap was brilliant. Just a split second, right, of ball control. And he possesses that ball, and now we're talking about that never happens, right? What transpired at the end of that game, and then as Gerard said at the end, they run into each other, so the emotions are running high, and I think it's one of those situations where we as a league we have to do they have to do maybe a better job at understanding where the player is emotionally, right, in that state, and just maybe give a little more privacy, right, on the way back to the locker room. I know they're trying to capture every moment. That is the beauty about media, right? But maybe that's just not the right time. And of course, you have to respect Devontae's apology, for what he did. I'm sure he, immediately once he did it in that act, he knew it was the wrong thing to do. But nothing. I don't think it's anything to necessarily make a big deal about. But it just we're emotion, man, and I think times like that only make us, we're humans at the end of the day. We play this sport, and I know we have a reputation to uphold and make sure that we are setting the right example. But and it's a learning material, and as I said, it only makes us human, and so I respect him apologizing, being a bigger man about that, and we move on.
So the reports on that is, that the NFL is overlooking this, and that they're looking over disciplinary action up to and including a suspension.
Oh.
Wow, that's, in my opinion, I don't think he should be suspended. I think there should be a fine, because it was wrong, right? I mean, he shouldn't have done it, but I don't think he should be suspended at all.
Yeah, I think
Hopefully he won't get suspended. Hopefully he won't.
Yeah. So moving on to more positive notes here, rather than talking about guys acting out physically in sports today. Let's talk about, there are 6 teams in the NFL right now that have a record of 4 or more wins. 3 of them are in the NFC East, Rodney. 3 of them. One of them, your former team, leads the NFL right now. Give us your thoughts about the Philadelphia Eagles currently being the only undefeated team in the league.
Man, they're playing great ball right now, clicking on all cylinders. That's what you see. And, they had a close game themselves this past week. The AC was blowing a little too much, man, I guess, in AZ in that dome. And they walked away with that win. But, man, it starts with the quarterback. My God, man, Jalen Hurts. Love that guy. Is a great leader, works extremely hard, man, and you're seeing the fruits of his labor, you know what I'm saying, and witnessing it this season. You could tell he's comfortable in the system with his guys around him. They have great running back, great old offensive line, which is helpful. And, defensively, man, they're creating turnovers. So that's exactly what you want to see, to be honest. And it's the reason why, right now they're sitting first in their division, first in the NFC. And, it's still early, but, can they withstand whatever's, ahead? And they have a huge challenge this upcoming week, Sunday Night Football versus the rivalry Dallas Cowboys,
who are also in that list. Sorry.
Yeah, Dallas has been playing. No. NFC East has been, the NFC. What y'all say? The NFC least. The last however many years. But no, they're playing some good ball right now. But while you're talking about Philly, before the season started, how I forgot you asked me, Lawrence, about if you was a GM, how does it work or whatnot, and I was telling you about how it's like a big puzzle and you're trying to find all the pieces that fit. When you look at what Philly did this offseason and the moves they made defensively, offensively, the type of guys they brought in, their style of they play a certain style of football now when you watch them, and it fits the whole Philly culture. So when you say like the pieces that they brought in and all the things, like it seems like to be working out right now, that's what you see when you see Philly. Like you say, Jalen Hurts. You look at him as a quarterback, and then when you look at the other guys, it seems like it fits. Like that's the perfect leader for those type of guys. You got a good mix of young guys. You got a good mix of veterans. You got a good mix of of it all. And it seems that they got that on both sides of the ball. So it's fun to watch Philly right now. And I'm not even a big Philly fan, but it's fun to watch him right now.
What about the Giants? How impressive going from what we've seen from the Giants the last few years to now where they're sitting at right now, and Danny Dimes playing some really good football.
I think he's doing a good job of having them boys play 4 quarters now. I don't think it's like they're doing anything special, or you look at them and it's just like, wow, they have all these weapons. They're just finding ways to grind out wins, whether it's no points being scored or whether you got to score some points. It just seems like they're finding ways to win. And that's the foundation of trying to build a culture when it comes to being on a football team. The first thing you want to build within your team is just grinding and find ways to win, whether it's ugly or whether it's pretty. And right now they won some games to where you're like, I don't know how in the hell the Giants keep winning these damn close games, but they're doing it.
Rodney?
Yeah. I think to Gerard's point, like you said, man, they're comfortable with winning in any form, in any style, to be honest with you. And it's nothing spectacular. I had an opportunity to watch the game in London versus the Packers, and I'm sitting there. One, I picked the Packers to win that game, and two, as I'm watching it unfold, I'm saying, yeah, it's going to hold true. And next thing you know, I think I step away for some time. I look at my ESPN tracker, man, and I see that the Giants are now winning the football game, and I'm sitting there like, how is this possible? But like Gerard said, man, they're playing 4 quarters of ball, and they aren't phased, right? I think that's the culture aspect. Back in the day, I'm sure a year ago, 2 years ago, down maybe 10-0, a lot of those guys would put their heads down and say, all right, we're facing Aaron Rodgers. There's no way, we're coming back, right? It's the same old Giants. We're the same old team. It's only a matter of time. But right now, their mental strength and competitive toughness is up right now. And so when you have examples in games like this where you come out winning 12-10, or you come back from the Green Bay Packers, man, that does something for your team, and that creates this confidence that you need, and when it's contagious. And you just know at any point in time, no matter what happens, we'll always give ourselves a chance to win. And I think Saquon Barkley is looking like Saquon of old, and it's great to see him coming off a ACL injury. I know all about it, and I'm glad to see him now back to running like himself, and he's a huge reason why they're having a lot of success right now.
Absolutely. As we come to the end of this episode covering just sports and the NFL in general, does anyone have anything they want to add to what was already been said for today? I take that as a no. All right. Well, I will tack on a little bit to what you guys said about the Giants and how they are playing right now. I remember last year something had, really caught my eye, and it brought something that you said, Rodney. Last year, I remember watching a game, and I've said this on air a few times. I would watch that defensive line. The ball would be snapped, the game would be playing, and the entire defensive line would just be standing there with their hands on their hips at times. And I'm just like, wow, that right there tells you the mental state of that team,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mm-hmm.
don't see that right now. To your point, you see
Yeah.
them fighting 4 quarters.
Yeah.
So that's really big. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, download, obviously, share to your favorite social media. And until next time, this was Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. I'm Lawrence Owen. That was Gerard Powers and Rodney McLeod. And as usual, go Colts. All right. And we got one more. Previewing the Jaguars. All right.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, big game, big game, especially after the last game. All right, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Bleav in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guys Rodney McLeod and Gerard Powers. And today we are breaking down the big Sunday matchup at 1:00 between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it, but the Colts got
We like to play
blanketed.
Jacksonville at home, though.
Yes. But I mean, good Lord, the Colts. Wait, we as a team have got something to prove in this game, right? At home. I mean, big time, because 24-0 is not a game that you want to watch. As a fan, as a player, nothing like that. You got something to prove in this game. Am I right, Gerard?
No, you definitely got something to prove, just like any other division game. But Jacksonville, in particular, like we've said all summer, for whatever reason, they got our number. They play well versus man. So being blanketed, having a goose egg hung on us when we went down there. Hopefully, we can return the favor. And that's what I'm gonna challenge Rodney and the defense to do. We went down there. They ain't let us put up no points. They coming up here. Let's try to hold them to 0.
That's what we on. That's what we on, man. We accept that challenge for sure. That's the mindset we need to have, man, is don't allow them to gain an inch. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to be stingy. They're coming into our house and we got to protect it. And so like y'all said, man, we have something to prove, most definitely. Prove it to ourselves, prove it to our fans, and prove it to everybody else that's watching that at the end of the day, man, what happened in Jacksonville won't happen again, and we're gonna walk away with this win and do it in front of our fans and do it the right way. We got to get that bad taste out of our mouths, man, and it's embarrassing, to be honest, like what happened. So that pain, that everything we felt after that game, we got to go ahead and put it in a cup this week, man, and bring that to the game, and what I'm saying, make sure that we keep that on our minds, and that's on our mind from start to finish, and walk away with this win.
I mean, legitimately, it was the worst game for all 3 phases of the Colts in that game. The offense did not put up a point. The defense gave up the most points they've given up all season, if I remember correctly, in 24. That's a game right now that is probably been on the mind of every player of the Colts. See, it's just been kind of lingering there, right? Granted, it's the next game every time, but when you suffer something like that, it kind of it does tend to linger. My thought is defensively, when you're walking into this game, something that Trevor Lawrence did a lot in this game was the short passing, right? And you guys, just completion, the short, quick passes. And defensively, you guys have really done a very good job of not only forcing the short completions, but being able to break on the route since that game. Gerard and I had talked about that, about playing a little bit tighter, recognizing coverages and stuff like that. So, I don't. Gerard, do you have anything you wanna talk about with this game? Because my brain right now is just like out there.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be another defensive matchup. I think everybody kind of is on the same board now. When you watch Jacksonville's defense, this is not the defense of old. Like, they got a really, really good defense. They got some guys up front. They got a fast defense. Some guys in the secondary that can break on the ball. Obviously, they shut us out the last time we played them. But when you watch them play against other teams, their defense has consistently been like the best unit that they have that's going on the field week in, week out. So I definitely think it's going to cause some not matchup problems, but just cause some issues within our offense with kind of what we got going on chemistry-wise, still trying to figure it out. But I think Rodney and those guys defensively going into this game, they're going to know we're going to have to defend every blade just like last game. We know it's going to be a defensive battle, and it's probably going to be a field position type of game to where we're going to have to do what we can on the defensive side of the ball to help the offense, whether that's field position, whether it's turnovers, anything like that to give the offense momentum every time that they step on the field. But we know what type of defense they got on their team as well. And, we got to expect those guys to go out there and expect to play well because they've been playing well all year as well.
So Rodney, the Colts right now, and this is difficult to say, 2-1 walking into this game. Is there kind of a mindset of, hey, we have a fresh start, we're starting at 0, or is it just we're actually 0-0, we got to get 1-0? How's that working?
It's a mentality. We just have to get 1-0, and we just focus on this game, man. We had to pour all of our efforts, all of our focus and attention on the next game at hand, because that's the next task, and it's a big one. And it's solely has a lot to do with division opponent. For us to get to where we're striving for, we have to win Sunday, and we want that banner to go up in the stadium. We have to win, on Sunday to give ourselves a ticket into the playoffs. We have to win on Sunday, and that's where my mind is, man. It's playoff mentality. To be honest, and you normally say that, in week maybe 14, but the way our schedule is, we have a lot. We've had a lot of division opponents to start out this season. Jacksonville this upcoming week, and we know we go to Tennessee the following. So it's playoff mentality, man. And the things we spoke about for that Denver game, we're going to hold true this game. We can't afford to have any hiccups, any issues, what I'm saying, from communication, eyes, man, all the fundamentals, techniques, the things that we talk about and put emphasis on. We have to be dialed in and locked in this week because Gerard said it, man. This isn't the Jacksonville of old. They're a good team. They've proven that. They beat quality teams. We're one of those teams. And so it's going to require our best. And if we play the way that I know we're capable of in all three phases for a complete 4 quarters and 60 minutes of football, we'll like the results.
Gerard, any questions?
I just think it's going to be a defensive battle. I don't even care about what our offense does, kind of what they're doing.
It don't matter.
Right? It don't matter. I'm a defensive minded guy, so I'm excited to see if, especially with you guys, is Rodney. Like I said, all year I felt like the defense has been, solid. Not necessarily been great, but as the weeks go on, it just seems like things are starting to click a little better and better and better. So when we get into this point of the year, like I told Lawrence a few pods ago, sometimes at a point during the season, you kind of like you feel it, like this is who we are. Like now I know exactly how this guy's playing. Now I know exactly where this linebacker is going to be on certain calls, so I can adjust. Like you just know how guys are, and I feel like the defense, you're starting to see what we got potential to be, and this would be one of those type of matchups to where, you'll go into the week saying we need to do this and that because of their offense, but at the end of the day, we'll be watching their defense from the other sideline to see who's going to play better, because whoever plays better, that's who's going to win this game right here at the end of the day. So defensively, you like these type of matchups because you got to be better than their defense now.
Well, there's also a young man who got the most snaps, if I remember correctly, this past week for the secondary so far this year, and that's Isaiah Rodgers. Give us a little what have you seen from Isaiah Rodgers the last couple weeks that he's been out there?
From Zay, man, I've seen a guy who's taking advantage of his opportunity. More importantly, in the right place, whether it's the run game. I remember him making a huge tackle on Derrick Henry, man, pinning the hip, everything we talk about. And if you know Zay, man, his stature, he's a small guy. he's fast, but he's small. But man, he stepped in there, a lot of courage, man, and I was thoroughly impressed. He's been a very good open field tackler for us. I think it was 3rd and 15 this past game, slant, got turns, tries to give a move, he gets down, and then probably one of the low key underrated plays of the game is in that overtime. They hit Judy down the sideline, and Isaiah makes a tackle, man, to give us a chance to line up and play another snap. Which if he misses, he might walk in for 6, and that's ball game, right? So I think it's really him just taking advantage of his opportunities. He has a very good knack for the football. I've seen him make like 2 crazy interceptions in practice, man. And his return abilities, I mean, they speak for themselves. You see him back there. So I'm proud of him, man. He's a young guy, competitive, and just really making the most of his reps when given the op.
Gerard, last time we played the Jaguars, the offensive line had serious problems with that defensive end named Josh Allen, right? Do you think the offense will have a plan this week against that guy?
I hope they do, but it's another guy on the other side that's dang just as good, and Walker. Like I said, Jacksonville whole like defensive front, linebackers, and all that. Those guys are top notch. So hopefully we know exactly what Josh Allen is, but as a whole, we're gonna have to be sound, man, and make sure that we're gap sound far as integrity and helping each other out, because these guys do a good job in disguising their coverages, disguising their blitzes. Mike Caldwell, their defensive coordinator, he's going to bring pressure if needed. So
yeah, and
the Bose family tree. So Bose is a pressure guy in Tampa, and he's a pressure guy as well with Jacksonville.
absolutely. And I wanted to bring up this past game against the Broncos, Gerard, where the Indianapolis Colts decided to do a serious flip around on the offensive line for their starters during a short week with no actual physical practice. What are your thoughts about that? What they did there with putting Pryor at tackle and moving Smith to guard?
Just to kind of break it down, and Rodney, you can attest to it. When you're in the secondary, and let's say, Rodney, obviously you play safety, you learn other positions as well, just in case certain things happen. So let's just say, like, Rodney might not be our nickel guy, but if certain guys go down or certain people have to play other things, I'm pretty sure Rodney will be looked at as a nickel guy, be able to play a nickel guy just because he might be familiar with the roles and positions. It's the same thing when we're talking about the offensive line unit. Even though when we see the depth chart and it's just like, hey, he's left tackle, he's right guard, or everybody got your specific positions during the course of training camp, OTAs, practice, during the course of the year, you get moved around at other positions just because just so you can have some type of comfort in case certain emergencies happen. So when we see certain offensive linemen getting shifted around, playing positions that us as fans from the outside haven't seen them play, I'm pretty sure those guys have been prepared to play those positions. And it's not just like I wake up and, hey, we should change the O-line. And even though it's a short week, they'll be okay. Like, these guys have been trained, they're professionals, and nobody that's playing on a 53-man roster is just learning one position. Everybody is having to learn multiple positions, unless you're a kicker, quarterback, or running back. Everybody, or wide receiver. Everybody else, you're kind of, should be able to, I guess, move around. I know when I played, I started at corner. When we went sub, I was the start nickel. But if something would have happened to one of the safeties, I was the emergency safety. So, like, being a professional, you have to learn multiple things just in case, because you only got so many guys on the team and so many guys at your specific position.
Wow.
It's hard to get guys off the street to come in and play. So you got to learn something if you want to keep a job in the NFL. You better learn multiple positions. And I think this is the case. So.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We're all waiting to see what the offensive line lineup is going to be this Sunday. There's speculations everywhere. But obviously, you know, Frank and that offense is going to keep that under wraps until the moment of the game. Um, Rodney, I got a off-topic question for you that I generally leave for regular player interviews, but I found that I have yet to ask you or Gerard this question. Just kind of a fun-loving question. What is your favorite go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food?
Yeah.
Crabs.
Oh,
I'm a huge crabs guy. Not even necessarily the crab legs. Like I'll settle for that if I can't get anything else. But the whole crab, I'm from Maryland. That's what we do, man. So, next time you guys out in that DMV area, make sure the summertime you stop and have you a nice little some nice snow crabs. But that's my go-to right there. I
what
feel like it's a time to sit down with family, friends, bond, converse a little bit, and then just eat good food. Have my Old Bay, butter on the side, man. I'm good to go, and probably a cold one or something as
is there?
well.
No
Is it? Are we talking home
question.
cooked or a specific restaurant?
No, normally, man, honestly, there's so many different spots around the area. And we're talking like little shacks to trailers to like the wharf where you can go and get crabs. More popular during the summer season, of course, spring, summer, a little tougher in the winter. But yeah, got a few locations back at home that I know about.
Okay.
Hmm.
Gerard, what's yours, my guy? Your favorite go-to
My
comfort food?
go-to, I'm from Alabama, so down south we eat southern soul food and all that. So of course my go-to gonna be some fried chicken, or I'm gonna get on the grill and smoke some chicken. So either
Okay.
way, it's gonna be either smoked or fried, and that's what we're gonna do down here with some mac and cheese, some candy yams, turnip greens. I'm a Sunday soul food type of go-to guy. So if I need some like go to real quick, it's gonna be some version of a soul food type plate, whether it's catfish, whether it's chicken, mac and cheese, something like that. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
I love
Okay.
I love some catfish. I love some fried chicken. My favorite go-to comfort food though is biscuits and country gravy, whether it's sausage gravy, something I love biscuits and gravy. It's
Mm,
something I was grown up with myself. My um, grandmother made it every Sunday morning. When the whole family, would come in and gather around for Sunday morning breakfast before church. And
yeah.
then we'd go and that was just this. And then after church, we'd all show up for lunch, and have
Yeah.
like 20 people in this little tiny house, but it is what it is. But it's something that I go to whenever I feel down, I need something. I go to that biscuits and gravy, man. I love that. I
There we
wish
go.
I wish I didn't have a an allergy because I can't eat shellfish, you know.
Oh yeah.
Uh because there's been a lot of foods like crabs and lobster and shrimp. Shrimp I can't even have, So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I smell it. The butter, the different flavors of butter that's used for that stuff.
Yeah.
It smells so good, but it
Dang.
sucks.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Breaking down. Well, actually, no, we have yet to do a score prediction, Gerard. Rodney, you're going to predict a
Mm.
W, right? Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying we win it. I'm gonna lead the score to you guys. It's just gonna be a dub in the column though.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gerard, what is your prediction for the game?
Lawrence, you've been hitting it with the low scores the last week. I might be on the low score bandwagon with you this week, and I'm gonna say 2013 Colts.
Okay. Yeah, the Broncos game was really close to my score, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What'd you
I
got?
I believe I had 17, no, 16-12 was my score
Yeah.
for
Oh
that game.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
16-12 or something like that.
16-12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was like, goodness gracious.
Yeah. Well, I've seen two really good defenses and two offenses that were having problems. So that to me seemed like a low scoring game, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly how it ended up being. This game coming up, I feel like our defense is going to play better than what it did the first time we mashed up. I mean, we're at home. Come on, right? The crowd is going to play a part. And if you don't, I'm calling Colts Nation out right now. All right. Go out there while Rodney and the rest of his guys are out there on the field. I want to hear the loudest Lucas Oil Stadium has ever been. We cannot lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars in this upcoming week. All right. I think the defense will probably hold Jacksonville. I'm going to call 17 points. I think that's fair. They're still a really good team. And we can't keep holding teams to like 9 points. As much as we'd love to, that'd be great. I think the offense is going to play a little bit better. I'm going to go. I can't remember your score. 24-17.
2013.
23. I'm going to say 24-17.
All right.
So I'm actually going a little bit higher than you this time. But I got the Colts winning, so don't let me down. All right.
We got
All
you.
right,
We got
guys.
you.
All right. I think that'll do it for this episode. Appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you so much. This was Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Gerard Powers and Rodney McLeod. And until next time, as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?